Well, hello everyone. Happy New Year. I'm waiting for a couple of people to get on before I start going too in depth. Well, there's already something. Let's see. There we go. Hey everybody. Good evening. It's nice to have y'all. I have my good friend Mike here from Midnight Paranormal Society from the great state of Texas.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey Leanne. Got my that's my sister Leanne. Uh-oh. David Childers, what's up?
What
Parapimp.
is up, my brother?
I thank everyone for joining us tonight. Hey Megan. Well, hopefully, starting the new year off right. I got the best guest to have for the new year. Mike, I appreciate you making time for me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on.
Hey, Todd. All family members, Jason. This is the guy, Mike, I was telling you about. So, y'all get to learn a little bit more about him this evening. He's very family oriented, which that's one thing, man. You come on. That was awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
She's a little sweetie. I'm coming to Texas just to hug her.
Can you see me
Eileen.
still?
Huh?
Can you see me still?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just sharing the live feed with my team so that way they can check it out.
Okay. Yeah, we got and then the pack is sharing. So we should have a good turnout tonight. Eileen is ready to go already. Oh, what's up, pimpin' Ernie Pack, my brother? Guys, we're gonna get to sharing. We're gonna get us out there so we can have some good discussion tonight. Hey, sister Denise. Everyone, don't forget the wedding of the century is happening this month. Denise and Ernie are getting married. It's official. It's going to be packtastic.
Oh, there's the comments. I didn't see that till now.
Yeah, sometimes shut up, Eileen. You already started, David. All right. The only thing I ask is that David and Eileen don't kill each other in chat tonight.
Right. And if you do, make sure to record it first.
Packalicious. That's right, sister. Packalicious. All right, guys. We're going to get into this because Mike has a lot to say. Thank you, Eileen. And I know you guys are going to want to hear it. All right. So tell us a little bit about Midnight Paranormal Society, Mike.
Oh man, so Midnight Paranormal Society, I actually founded it because growing up, my mom and I we were plagued by the Ouija board. Someone brought the Ouija board into our home. A neighbor, they played it. Things happened that we didn't understand, and so everybody who we went to kind of shut us down. And so that kind of lit or started my journey, if you will, to becoming a paranormal investigator. Because everywhere we moved, we experienced something, and I had the question in my mind: was it, was something following us from me from the very first location till that point, or were we going to these new homes that we're moving to, and was something already there, and it just kind of said, "Hey, here comes this family, and let me decide to mess with them of all the families that could possibly live here." And so I always wondered that why us. And so once I got into the research aspect of it, I saw that, of course, realistically, we weren't the only family in the world going through this. There was people who were going through even worse, worse things than we were. And so, I come from a big family. I'm the I'm the oldest of seven. Well, there's seven kids, so seven of us. I'm the oldest, so I always wanted a team to match my family. So I wanted a big team, and I do have it now. And so I started my journey not knowing where it was going to take me. I was like, you know what, look, I'm gonna just take the first foot forward, allow God to guide me. And one thing, like I said, I did not want to do this alone. I wanted to find
Yeah.
like-minded individuals, people who were not just anybody. I want them to be my family, people who join the team and who will go through the hell and high water, rain and shine. People will have my back to the very end. And now I have that, thank God. And so with MPS, our mission is to want to bring that awareness to the community of what really happens in investigations. We want to show people that, whether you're truly going through something, no matter what it is in the field or in the paranormal, or whether, let's say, that you may encounter somebody who they have some kind of mental issues or problems where they need to get help, we do everything we can to assist these people, and not just the living, but the deceased as well. So, that's what MPS is known for. And not only that, but here in Texas, another thing that we're known for is a lot of teams come to us and say, "Hey, Mike, hey, MPS, we have an investigation. Either we don't have the time to get to it, or it's just too severe for us. Would you mind taking this case for us?" And I'm not afraid to ask for help myself, but if we can handle it, we definitely take it on. And also too, people come to us and they may be in other cities, other states, other countries, and I go, take it upon myself. I'll do some research and try to do my very best to find teams out there from that person's respective area to connect them with. So, MPS is not just helping people close to us, but if you need help, no matter where you're at, if I can't get to you personally, I will find somebody who definitely will.
Yes, and that's one of the things I enjoyed talking to you when I got to talk to you the first time.
Yeah.
I love to see what you're doing. You're about helping others,
Yes.
and your whole team, and the family, because your sister is part of your team also, correct?
Say that one more time.
Is your sister's part of your team,
Yeah,
correct?
my sister Jeanette Rico, she's my co-founder of my team. And like I said, she and I, when we're growing up, and not to get off subject, but my sister, she has this ability that I can't really say it's this or that. When we were growing up, my sister is partially blind. And to the point where when we would play, like, for example, like, let's say a tag or hide and go seek, when we would be running, I mean, she would run, straight into the wall, boom, and crash and fall and start crying. But she would see these things, and it was like, other people question, like, is she crazy? Like, what's she talking about? But for me, it's like this deeper feeling inside was like, I never questioned my sister, like, oh, you're crazy, you're nuts. I believed her. It's like, we would experience it, but then she would, give us detailed things of what was there. And mind you, being a little child. And so of course now we have MPS, and she helps me run the team. And it's like, together, man, it's like a tag team duel that, I would never want to have MPS without my sister. She's my right hand, and it's like I couldn't do without her. So I love her so much, and I give her a lot of credit for having MPS where it's at today because of my sister.
Well, and you did that together, and it's always good to know, that's y'all's baby. You built that together.
Yes, yes.
And that's, I feel the same way. I myself am an overachiever, but I have a very large family with Midnight Wolfpack. We're all special in our own rights, but
Right,
it just works. You know who your family is
right,
when you meet them, and that makes all of our investigations and what we do to help others
right.
so much more important.
Definitely. I definitely agree. And one thing I like to say is, one thing I love about this field is that even though, there's some, things that happen that we may not agree on, but one thing I like to say is that you don't have to have the same blood in your veins to be, be family. And one thing that I love is that I've met so many amazing people in this field that, if I were to go to them and say, look, I need this help, or I have this person who needs help in this city or this state or this country, whatever it is, or even for us, these people will stop what they're doing and they're like, I got you, Mike. Don't even worry about it. Don't sweat it. I got you. And people like David, like Eileen, like my sister from another Mr. Sky Ray, like, we have so many people, and yourself, we have so many people out here who just make this field that much better. And that, to me, I appreciate so much.
Yep. And that's, like I said, I can't wait to get out there and see you guys. I mean, my Texas family has grown so fast. Joe from Beyond the Woodline, Shannon Rogers.
Yeah.
I absolutely love them both. And I see what you're doing. San Antonio wouldn't be the same without you, man.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me.
And you're doing big things. I mean, you're the one thing, like I said, I know you help other people. Like, if we need something out here and somebody I don't know, I know to call
Right.
you.
Right. Definitely.
But the thing is, you're doing so much in your community
Right.
and you are educating. And that's one of the things I wanted to make sure that I talked to you about tonight, because your team is very, very big on educating.
Right, exactly. 100%. Yeah, we are because one thing I always preach about and I talk about and I believe that we have this one life that we live. None of us truly know what we're meant to be doing in this, in this life. And to me, I don't know if I'm 100% supposed to be doing this in the paranormal field, but I trust God and I trust my feeling inside that, to me, it's like I feel like I am on the right track. I feel like I do have the right people with me, and to me, it's like I couldn't see myself doing anything else besides wanting to better the field we're in, better, because to me, the people every day there's someone coming to the field, someone brand new, somebody who I don't care if they saw a TV show, I don't care if they had an experience, I don't care if they were affected at one point or another, but there's always someone new coming to this field. And to me, in this one life that we're living, one day we're not going to be here anymore. And to me, it's like, what are we going to leave behind? Just like in history, when those who came before us, like imagine the pioneers of the field, people who came before us, they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what to expect, but they learned as they went. And then once they left this world, they left like this book for us to be able to read and apply to our own investigations. And for us, it's like we got to come together. We got to set aside all the craziness and realize that when we leave this planet, what are we going to leave behind for the next generation? I don't want to leave a book behind of they're going to read, oh, this person fought with this person, this person. No, like how can we show them the things that we had to go through and how we overcame it and how we bettered the field, and that way they can take it to levels that we can't even imagine. And that's what I want to try to achieve in this one life.
And I think we can. We all have to work together. And we all have the common goal. We're all looking for the same thing.
Right.
And that's the one thing we need to work harder on is not everybody has to agree.
Right.
I live by you ain't gotta love me, you ain't gotta like me, but you're gonna respect me. That's how
Right.
I
Right.
live.
Right.
And I don't want to argue. That's not what this is about. This is about, hey man, what can I learn from you? What can
Right.
you learn from me? What can we pass down?
Right.
Because we're the ones that have to set the tone for
Right.
the future of what
Right.
paranormal investigating is. We have to make sure people are safe,
Right.
because let's just face it, there are not the brightest people out there that decide, hey, I want to be a paranormal investigator this morning. And
Right.
then they're out in the most haunted location that is the most negative place they can be, and then they come back missing an arm. I mean,
Right. That's
it
true. Yeah, definitely.
it's like, well, we told you so.
Right.
So, and you have something coming up soon with some new investigators, correct?
Yes, actually. And I'm thinking you're talking about the same thing about going, helping this new team come into the field, right? Is that what we're
Yes.
talking about?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here in town, there's a place called the Black Swan Inn, and the owner of that, Miss Joanne. If you guys ever come to Texas, to San Antonio, go check out the Black Swan Inn. Very amazing place, very historic. It's a super haunted place. But she actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, Mike, there's a new team. I mean, they haven't made a name. They never investigated before, but they're putting the pieces together, and they're gonna come to the Yorktown Memorial Hospital. They're gonna do their thing, but I feel like they need some sort of basic guidelines. And of all the teams who I thought about you guys. I know that you guys, you make the time to show people these sort of things. And if there's any team who can do it, I know you guys can do it. And that was an honor to me because I was like, man, she could have found any team out there, but she came to us. So we're gonna be assisting this new and up and coming team. I don't know their name yet. I haven't met the people, but we're gonna go to Yorktown Memorial Hospital in February, I believe, and we're gonna go help these individuals. We're gonna go kind of just show them the ropes and kind of pass them what we know, and then again, just like when you go to school, you get that information, you add your own information to it, and you just apply it as you go. So I'm excited for that. It's a great opportunity.
It's gonna be because Miss Joanne owns Yorktown too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she does.
I've heard great things about her. I've talked to Stephanie on the phone and love her.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
I can't wait to get out there. One thing too, I wanted to ask you: have they tore down the ghost tracks yet?
You know what? Here's the thing, right? Me being in San Antonio my whole life, I'm born and raised here. When I was growing up as a child, my mom, she told me, man, so, Mike, when I was a kid, I went to the ghost tracks, and I feel like she kind of added more than what it was, what it really was, and I would be all scared. But then once I realized the actual story behind it, realizing the story didn't really happen in San Antonio, but apparently it happened in Salt Lake City, Utah. Still, people would show up to the ghost tracks. And then actually recently, I believe it was last year, the city of San Antonio decided to go and crack down on the ghost tracks. And if you've never been to the ghost tracks, it has this optical kind of illusion to me. It's not, it's just, it looks like a road that's coming downhill. And so people will go like midway, hit the neutral, and then they'll roll down the hill and cross over the tracks. And they're like, oh, but we put baby powder and there's ghost hands. And I'm not gonna get into all the details, but people don't realize that their fingerprints and stuff stay on the vehicle. It's gonna touch the trunk or the doors and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, the city came and they leveled out the road. So now there's no longer the ability to roll down anything. It's just a flat out, road, and they just fix it completely. So now no, I mean people still kind of go, but it's not like the way it used to be anymore.
Yeah. Because I was wondering about that because you have to clean your car. There's oils
Right,
from your
right.
hands and from
Wash that
everything.
bad boy, yeah.
And I was told by a sheriff's deputy that they were talking about tearing the tracks down.
Say that one more time.
I was told by a sheriff's deputy that they were going to tear the tracks down, and I was like, "Crap, I got to get there."
I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna tear them down. I mean, I have no idea. But so far, I know it's still an active, track that the train passes through every now and then. But you don't really see that many people going anymore because the fact that they pretty much leveled it out. You know what I mean? And now people go park there and just kind of like stuck there in the middle of the road. They're not moving anywhere.
Yeah, no, that would suck. That kind of just defeats the purpose. Hey, what did you do? I just went and sat there.
Right. Yeah.
Now, have you?
Go ahead.
Did you went when you were younger?
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, I had that thought in my mind when my mom told me as a kid, and so I had that fear, like, oh my god, I'm gonna go, and these children are gonna come out and try to push me over, which is this, cool because they're helping me, but I didn't want to see no ghost, right? And after a while, being there so many times and realizing what really happens, it's just kind of like, just I lost that, and like I said, people always come to me like, hey, Mike, the ghost tracks. And it's hard because it's one of those things where it becomes like an urban legend kind of thing, and
Yeah.
people want to believe it. And I'm not here to take away anyone's their thoughts, and beliefs. But to me personally, I'm just like, I just kind of like, hey, you know what? If you want to go check it out, go. Just be safe with the actual train coming through.
Yeah, and see, like you said, it's all about a lot of urban legends. We
Right.
actually have that. There's well, I live in Georgia, but in North Carolina, they
Right.
have the same familiar. And every city or town has Ghost Road.
Right.
I mean, there's just, there's always the shack with the murdered axe killer dad. But who's to say certain things can't happen? The same thing can't happen in more than one place.
Right. That's definitely true. It is, and it's funny because the other night, I was playing because I'm a big gamer. Whenever I'm not doing paranormal stuff, I have an Xbox. I game, and one of my friends from California was telling me that in California, they also have a similar story like the ghost tracks, and I was like, man, is this story kind of like going around the different states and kind of just being shared amongst the different people? But yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Are you a Call of Duty player?
Oh, of course, I'm actually
Okay,
been playing the new Call
yeah,
of Duty. Yeah.
we'll exchange gamer tags later. Hey, Josh
Yeah.
Chow, how you doing? Ronnie, how you doing tonight? Yeah, I love San Antonio. Like I said, I love Texas, just period. First off, tacos. I have a taco problem. Second off, it feels like home. Where
Right.
else? Where else can you see the sun and the moon at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. in the morning?
Right, right. And also, for those who just love tacos, if you ever come to San Antonio, hit me up and I'll direct you to a place called Rolando's Tacos, on the south side of San Antonio. I believe it's called Rolando's. This place, they have these, they talk about Texas size tacos. I mean, this thing, I don't know if you can see my hands, but I mean, this thing it's a huge taco like this
Oh,
big,
Lord.
big old giant taco, big old tortilla. They have it, and when you close it up, I mean, it's probably as long as my arm. I mean, from my elbow to my tip of my hands, big old giant
Oh.
taco, man. And people eat like two or three of them. I'm like, I try to eat one, I only eat half of it. It's so big.
Okay, yeah, like I'm down. I'm down. That's got to happen. Look, super tacos.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's one of my investigators there, Lee. Good people. He's a good guy.
Well, now, one of the, you being out in San Antonio, one of the places that I can't wait to come out and investigate is the cemetery, the old cemetery that you drive through to get into the city. That's like a mile long on both sides of the road.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, no, there's some really good spots here in town, and if we're talking about the same cemetery, I've been there, and here's a funny experience that I had. I tell people when you go to an investigation, the moment you step foot in that location, make sure to have a camera ready. I don't care if it's a GoPro, if it's some kind of body cam, a handheld, some kind of camera. Have it the moment you drive into the location. Hit record, or even if it's your cell phone, because you never know when you're gonna have an experience. And when I first started MPS, this is way back in 2008. That cemetery you're talking about, I believe we went to the cemetery, and one of my friends was like, "Man, I came here," and he was telling me these really outrageous stories. And I was like, "You know what, man? Let's just go. I want to see it for myself." We showed up to the cemetery, and he's a big smoker. He was smoking real fast, and I was getting this at the time. This is the camcorders that had the high 8 tapes,
Yeah.
and I was getting ready to put the tape in there. I was, getting the headphones ready to, to record. And as I'm messing with the camera, imagine hearing the sound of like bushes being, moved, like, they were rustled or something. Like it's just really loud. I'm looking around and there's no bushes. It's just cemetery, right? And I see there's a palm tree that is at kind of like an angle like this. It's just like it's falling, but it just stayed stuck midair. And so, and it's at that angle. And I'm looking around and nothing. All of a sudden, where that palm tree's at, this black shadow comes walking out. Like imagine if it walked out of the tree, and the palm tree was real thin. It's not a big old thick palm tree. It was real skinny one.
Yeah.
Comes out, and when it happens, it's like I froze, and like I felt like cold went from my head to my feet, and I was like, and I didn't know what to do, and I'm looking at this thing, and the camera's off, and my mind's like, hit record, Mike, turn the camera on, hit record, but I'm just froze, like looking at this, and it's kind of going and going, and it's not like it's walking on the ground. It looks like it's almost like hovering, just going across from the palm tree, and then when it gets to the next big old tree that's there, it kind of like just like touches the tree, or it goes to the tree and just disappears, and I was just so blown away. I mean, a part of me was scared. I was like, I was just wasn't expecting that. But then
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I saw that. But that's why I tell people, when you go to these locations, make sure to hit record, because you don't want to pull that rookie mistake that we all sometimes do. And, you miss on that opportunity to have a great piece of evidence like that.
Yeah, because I know you're kicking yourself in the ass like, damn it.
Man, you wouldn't believe it, man. I was like, why am I like, my fingers were touching the camera, and I was just shocked. I was just, I you don't see that all the time, and so when you see it, you're like, I just froze there. Like I didn't know what to do. It just was stiff. It was crazy.
Look, every experience is a first time. You got to treat everything like it's the first time it ever happened. Like you get excited. I think if you lose the excitement portion of it,
Right.
you're done. You're done.
Yeah, definitely.
You got a couple of questions in here. Josh Chow, who is actually a family member also, he wants to know about ghost towns. Because I know there are a few out in Texas, but I'm not quite sure.
I mean, there's some towns like, like for example, I'm going to give you an example of one. There's a town called Seguin, Texas, which is about 30 to 45 minutes away from San Antonio. And we recently investigated a location out there. I'm talking about middle of nowhere. I mean, if you blink, you pass it. It's called the Immortal 32 House. This place, if you ever have the chance to come to Seguin, Texas, look up Immortal 32 House and Miss Tiata Scott. She runs the place. I mean, her hospitality is 100% really amazing woman. That location is connected to the Alamo, the Battle of the Alamo.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of this place because I don't have all the details, but imagine there was a gentleman there who he caught word that the people at the Alamo who were battling were getting demolished. I mean, they were getting killed left and right. So they got called for they were the Alamo, the people who were battling, the soldiers were calling for reinforcements, and nobody wanted to come help. So
Yeah.
this guy in Seguin, Texas, he said, "Look, I'm not a soldier, but we need to help these people." And so he assembled some people from Seguin and from Gonzales, Texas, I believe. And that's why it's called the Immortal 32, because they formed 32 men. They told their families goodbye. The man who formed the group, he told his wife, she was about to give birth to, I believe, twins. He told his wife before she had their babies, like, I'm going, and just so you know, I'm not coming back. I'm not gonna make it back. I'm gonna die when I get there. And the moment they arrived at San Antonio, they got murdered. All 32 men, when they arrived, they got killed. They got ambushed and they got killed. So that little area in Seguin, you go, it is so active. And Santa Ana stayed there because once Santa Ana, caught word they got killed, he's like, I'm gonna go stay in that house and hit the gentleman's house out of some
Yeah.
disrespect. I'm gonna go stay there and just to show that I got rid of him and I came to his house and I lived in it for a little bit. So this house has some, I mean, huge connections to the history of Texas. And like I said, this place I never heard of it until the lady contacted me. And there's towns like that, places like that you don't really know about until you just kind of like drive by them. You're like, wait, what is this? And you kind of just discover it. So there's some out there, especially here in
We
Texas.
need to go there. We need to
Yeah.
go there. That's yeah, because Alamo is like dream location for me.
Right.
Knowing someone that grew up not far from it and rode his bike past there all the time as a kid. And I'm sitting there like, what do you mean? You never went? Well, I grew up in San Antonio. I don't care. Why did
Right.
you not go to the Alamo?
Right.
um,
Right.
I mean, just and plus with COVID, while I was in San Antonio, I never really got to get out and see anything.
Right. Right.
So definitely we'll be coming back for that. And then David has a question. And let me get, because that didn't work. He said, what's your outtake on shadow people, high or low level of manifestation?
Man, that's a very good question. I've always wondered myself because, I've been in locations and, I actually documented the shadow mass that was moving and this is a crazy thing, and I wish I could share it with you guys. I have to share it with you later. But we had a case where this family was being plagued, or they were experiencing this elderly gentleman in their house, but whenever we would go investigate, this thing that was there would appear as a shadow, like a shadow mass, shadow person, or whatever. And we finally documented this occurrence. And in one of the doors to one of the rooms, imagine we had all the lights on, except and the crazy part is, you would think if you're in a well lit location, there's no reason why when you have a camera rolling that the next room over that it should be blacked out, like the doorway. If there's light should peer to the next room, right? And
Yeah.
in this case, the door was completely blacked out. Like if someone, like if they just, you couldn't see no detail, you can see nothing. And so on the camera, as we were doing and I'm gonna tell you, this is what's called the cell phone method. And I'll explain that here in a moment. And I told David about this method. We're coming back into the house to come retrieve my cell phone and the recorder. Before we can make it to the destination, the camera where it was rolling has no it has no night vision, so we have to leave the light on. It's a DSLR regular camera. It's recording video. As we're coming, before we can arrive to the room, you see the black mass go from left to right, moving away from the doorway. And as it's moving away from the doorway, you can start seeing all the detail of the room being shown in the next room, or the lights peering over to the next room.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's like it's I haven't really had that much interaction with these shadow apparitions or shadows. So not to make the this long drawn out thing, but I wouldn't, I don't have that answer. I wish I knew more about the shadow apparitions and stuff. But the ones I've encountered, I've never physically been harmed in any way. To me, like, on the second occasion, I documented a woman's voice coming through my cell phone from a room where we were seeing this black shadow apparition going from left to right, like pacing back and forth in the room. And when the voice came to the phone, it was a woman's voice. So
Oh,
again,
wow.
I'm not sure if these shadow apparitions or whatever they are, if it is an actual spirit that just decides to show itself in a shadow form. I have no idea. I wish I knew more about it. But I guess through my investigations, maybe one day I will know more.
I have my own little theory about that, and it was someone brought it to my attention. Just because something manifests dark doesn't mean it's negative.
Right, right.
And I think that's where most people get caught up. Oh my God, it's a shadow person. It's evil. And I'm like, no, maybe that's the only way it can manifest.
Right, right. Well,
I
you know
mean,
what? Sorry, go ahead.
that's just, a lot of people do that.
Well, I will say this, if you don't mind me saying. We had a case here in town on San Antonio's west side. It was a rough area of town. The family who we were helping, they were dealing with some just this wild thing where, the family was being plagued, the children were being harmed. And let me tell you something. When we went to the location, my sister, who's also my co-founder, Jeanette, she and my cleanser Kayla, we were in the location interviewing the family. Kayla started getting really sick. She started getting really nauseous, and she's like, "Do you mind if I step out and go stand in your kitchen?" She went to the kitchen, stood in there for a few minutes, and then she says, "Hey, what's behind this curtain over here?" And the woman goes, "Oh, it's a room over there. You can walk in if you like." Kayla walks in there, and she says, "Jeanette, come here immediately. Come here, come here, come here." Jeanette goes, and I'm still continuing to interview the owner of the lady who lived there. Well, Jeanette says, "Mike, come here now, right now." And my investigator Hector was with us. She says, "Start taking pictures." There it is in that corner by that mirror. She says, "It's this black figure that's there. It has these black horns." She goes, "It's not this normal black." She's like, it's like no black color that I've ever seen before. This, and she started breaking down in detail what this figure looked like. But see, Kayla, on the other hand, when she was seeing this figure, she saw it in the form of a shadow. And so Jeanette can see how the figure looked. Kayla was only able to see it in a shadow form. Hector took some photos, and when he started taking the photos, the shadow itself was manifesting in the photo, and you can see like this floating torso with the head. And actually, as we're talking, I can pull it
Wow.
up and I can show it to you. That way you can see what I'm talking about. If I can find that, I'll show it to you right now here in a moment. But let me see here.
Well, Denise is threatening that Ernie's about to become a shadow figure.
I want
And
to show you.
apparently, if I'm coming to see you, I have to pick up Eileen and David along the way.
Oh man, that would be such an amazing investigation for us to come together. And
And then Todd has decided he's my chauffeur, so he's coming too.
let me
And
see.
Denise said that no, it's definite that Ernie could become a shadow figure.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you guys ever come down here to San Antonio, I would
Of
definitely
course,
take you
Leanne.
to some amazing, amazing, amazing locations that will just rock you to your core, man. Some really great spots.
Oh, Texas is awesome. I can't wait to do some more stuff and investigating in Texas.
Right. Let me see. I'm
Um,
gonna find this for you that
now
way.
Eileen has decided David can't come. It's just her and the rest of us. You gotta love them. They're great fun.
Yeah, no, they're both amazing individuals, and I respect them both. Eileen and David, they're I love working with them, and now with yourself, it's just it's a great experience, and to me, it's like these are the moments that I genuinely cherish because you know it's up to us how we want this experience to be, and to me, that's what it's all about is the experience. What are we going to take away with us, and it comes down to that experience.
Well, yeah, and it's all about we forget about the fun sometimes. Denise, honey, I
Right.
would never forget you. The Twisted Sisters ride together. Period.
Oh, look, here it is. Let me see.
Um,
I know it's over the camera of the screen, but let me see if I can show you. Let me see. Hold on. Let me lower. I don't even
I
think
got a
that's what
little
it
bit of
is.
glare. Yeah, you
Hold
might
on.
have to send me that later
Yeah, it's just it's so crazy. Let me see. Hold
because I
on.
do want to see that.
Yeah, let me
I
see.
mean,
Hold
and it's the energy that can be taken into an investigation. If you go in positive,
on. Right,
I mean, and I can't wait. I want to do something this year, get as many people together as I can. We have a great, I mean, I know it's a long drive for you, but there's a meet and greet at the Old Stone Jail in Franklin, Kentucky.
okay,
And it's a great event where all kinds of teams come together. Some of us have
right.
known each other for a while, some of us just meet. Um, that's where I met Miranda Young, the ghost biker. If you haven't checked her out, you need to check her out. She's awesome. Her and Chris Sumner both.
Nice.
It's and that's the thing. You got to make connections. Yes, David, we do got to do the hospital, honey. That we do have to do. I got to yeah, I love what your team does too. When you're going out the locations and you have everybody interact on live.
Right, right, definitely.
David did the same thing the other day, and it's a great experience for people. People don't they get to kind of see what we do
Right, right,
and are still able to interact. And then it's been a rough couple of months for me, so I haven't been able to go to as many locations as I'd like because I can't walk well.
right, right.
So the family has been taking me on investigations by phone.
Well, that's great
So
too. Yeah, definitely.
so I don't miss out much. Yeah, Ronnie, we definitely we're coming to Texas. That's we're gonna be there for Texas Paracon. Um Plus August is birthday month, so I'm turning up in Texas.
Right. Yeah, I can't wait for that. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I mean that's like think about how many people are gonna be there.
Right. A lot of
David
people.
said guys trip. David, the group of women that I know, you do not want to leave alone together. I am a very bad influence and I don't drink. So that's saying something.
Right.
And like I know you do a lot in Louisiana too, right?
Who, myself?
Yeah. Have you
I
done a
you
lot
know
of investigating
y-
there?
no, I have not. I went there actually just for kind of vacation, and we went to this there's a city called and for those who are in Louisiana, forgive me if I butcher the name. But it was called Barataria or Batat. It was just a weird name, but we went to stay there, and that was the closest we can get to um what is it called? What's that main city there? I'm forgetting the name of what's the main city there? What is it called? Where they have Mardi Gras and all that. What is it called?
Oh, New Orleans or
New Orleans. Yeah.
yeah.
It was like the closest we can get. It was a few towns down or areas down, and we stayed in this like plantations type home. And when I was there, I didn't bring none of my equipment because I wasn't expecting to investigate. And that place we stayed at, once the sun went down, I mean, you can hear all kinds of footsteps and just craziness in that place. And I was like, dude, why didn't I bring myself to record? And I got to visit the Lafayette Cemetery.
Oh
That
yes, that's
that was pretty
amazing.
cool. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And I wish that I could have done like once the sun went down, just to go in there and walk around and just take pictures and record. That would have been nice.
Oh well, David is all about and Eileen, I have to throw her in there too. They want us to come to Mississippi and they're willing to do whatever they gotta do.
Man, I will be there if we had the opportunity. I would definitely take it.
Oh yeah, that would be a great trip with some great people. I mean, and that's what, like I said, that's what it's all about. That's what I love about doing this. There's a lot of podcasts out there. I get it.
Right.
I'm not presenting evidence because that's not what I'm about. I
Right.
am about getting to know the other investigators in the field.
Right. Right.
I mean, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to know what your experiences have been.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I mean, another thing is I got great people in chat. Like we all either know each other or we get a lot of support from one another.
Definitely. Definitely.
And I like I said, I love your content on what you guys put out. It's you bring a lot of evidence to the table and you try to explain it or not explain it, or if it can be
Right.
explained. You don't jump to everything is paranormal.
Right.
I mean, you can't beat that. I have a lot of respect for you because first off, you're
Thank
just a
you.
nice guy.
Yeah. I try to be I try to be nice, unless my kindness is taken for weakness or anything else. And you don't want to see that side, but for the most part, I'm like as harmless as a box of kittens.
Not a box of
Uh,
kittens.
a little bit. No, but one of the things that I kind of brought to my show that I have, and because due to COVID, one thing that I see is there's been a spike in people creating shows and stuff, and my hats off to them, and I hope all the success to the different people who are creating their own podcasts and stuff. But the one thing that I hadn't seen, and I was like, you know what, I think it's been long overdue. Is I decided to bring my mom onto my show and
I love it.
share her from her perspective, respectfully, because you always hear me talk about our experiences, and my mom was there, but no one ever heard her actually talk about it. So for my mom to come on my show and to share that, the first time she came on and after she got off, she was like, you have no idea how much weight has been lifted on my shoulders to finally be able to, I always hear it through you, Mike, but for me to be able to speak about it, it just made a world of difference for her. So that made me happy to see her, be able to share her part of the journey that we've taken together.
Eileen and I both, like Eileen just said, she loved the shows with your mom. It it was. I mean, your mom is just so sweet. I was like, I want to hug her so bad. And she supports you. That is what is just, you can tell. She is so supportive of what you're doing.
Oh yeah, she is. She is. Since day one, one thing I'll say is when I first came in, had the idea to want to, come into the field, a lot of my family right away, oh, you're looking for devils, and you're looking for demons. And I got, my grandmother, respectful to my grandmother, but she, are you crazy? My aunt, who's a Jehovah's Witness, that's not right. And, and I was like, listen, you know, I'm not doing this. To me, it all comes down to your intentions, your intent. And my
Yep.
intent is to want to help people. It's like, I feel, and again, I'm not trying to preach again, but to me, I believe that God puts you in situations. He uses you how he needs to. And to me,
Yes.
I would say, God, if there's someone out there who is being hurt, harmed in the paranormal field, somebody who needs help, they feel like they're alone, put me in that situation. Let me cross paths with them. That way, I'm not the one who's gonna bring peace into their life. I'm not the one who's gonna bring the light back into the, through the darkness. But I want to let them know they're not alone. And so once my family started seeing this, that I was actually doing this and I wasn't taking it as a joke, they started coming around. They respected it
Yeah.
more. And they started saying, you know what? We see what you do. And then when I started coming on TV, on TV, like making appearances on TV here locally, on the news and stuff, they were like, man, you're really doing this. This is something serious. We thought it was a joke. We thought you were taking it as a joke. I'm like, I don't take this lightly at all, because just like
No.
anything you get into, the moment you take it lightly, man, you're gonna get hurt. So I was like, respect this field, and I'm very cautious in everything I do. Um, but it makes me happy to know that I'm because me, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm going to speak for myself. I don't get paid for this, for investigations and
Nope.
stuff. Um,
Nope.
everything's out of my own pocket, like I say, it's a very expensive hobby. I've spent so much money on different things for my team and for what we do. And to me, I never ask anybody for a dime as far as clients or anything, because to me, I know what I signed up for, and I signed up
Yeah.
to help people make a difference. And another thing too, I want to touch on, if you don't mind, is earlier I mentioned about the cell phone method. So, like
Yes.
you mentioned, we all work, in this field, we should all be able to work together and share different, ideas, different methods and stuff. And so for me, there was a team that I met, and they had their own network called the Paranormal Alliance out of, I think it's called Temple, Texas. And there were different teams working together under that alliance.
Yes.
And so they invited me. They're like, "Look, Mike, we want you to come out. We've been seeing your work. We want you to come out, but just you, not your whole team." I'm like, "What the hell? That's kind of weird. Like, are they setting me up? Are they gonna like jump me when I see them?" And I don't know. I don't know what to, I don't know what to expect. I'm like, "Am I gonna get beat up or killed?" And I said, "Okay, I'll be there." Coming to find out, I was like 4.5 hours away, and going by myself, to a place I've never been. And I said, I'm just gonna trust it, and I'm gonna go. And I went, and they ended up being really great people. And they're like, "We want to show you this method. It's called the cell phone method." And I was like, "What is that?" And so while we're at the location, everybody was talking. And all of a sudden, as we're talking, in the attic above us, it was a regular modern, apartment, like a duplex. You can hear these loud, like boom, boom, like footsteps. Like someone's walking in the attic. And I said, and everyone's talking. I'm like, I go, "Guys, can y'all just stay quiet for a second?" I said, "What's that sound?" And you hear boom, like it's like heavy boots. And the lady goes, "That's what we've been experiencing." And Mary, who's one of the founders of the alliance, she says, "Let's do the cell phone method." And I said, "What's a cell phone method?" She goes, "Let me show you." So what they ended up doing was they got two cell phones. So like, let's say you and I, you call me on your cell phone. We put the phones both on speaker. And like, let's say I got my phone, and in
Yeah.
that case, we were hearing stuff in the attic. So I would get my cell phone that's on speaker, put it up in the attic, put a recorder next to the cell phone, close the attic up, and the rest of us, we kind of move as far away from that location as possible, like go outside. And the other cell phone, we have it on mute for the time being. Once we're all together, everyone settle down, take it off of mute. We start asking questions to the spirits, and in that case, the attic.
Mm.
And every time you ask a question, you put it on mute afterwards. That way, you don't have that interference coming back like an echo of your own voice. And then
Yeah.
we ask questions, then hit mute, ask question, and then once it's over, you retrieve the other phone, retrieve the recorder, and sometimes if you get lucky, as you're asking a question, a spirit that's there or whatever's there may and communicate with you back through the cell phone in real time, and you hear the spirit's voice right there and then. And if it doesn't
Oh,
happen,
wow.
a lot of times it'll be documented to the recorder, and you can just play it back and listen to it, which is really, at the time, was real mind blowing to me. And I finally used it, and it was a success.
Oh, no, that's awesome. Like, that's something, and that's the wonderful thing about you sharing that with other people. That's something I'm sure our team would love to try.
Oh man, that
Like,
would be amazing.
we do a lot, like Denise. Okay, so the Midnight Wolf Pack is after midnight, Pac-Man Paranormal, and the Black Wolf Paranormal. We're,
Right,
three teams that came together, and we're just all a family.
right, right,
Like I told you, with me not being able to go to investigations, I come in a lot by phone.
right,
Well, if some of us are not all together and can't make it to a location, we'll call one another, and we do necrophonic sessions
right.
or EVP sessions while we're on the phone. But yeah, I got to try that method out.
I'm telling you, and here's the thing: a
Yes,
lot of
Chow,
people,
we're going to have to try it. Josh
a
Chow is
lot,
like, sounds awesome.
a lot of people have told me, "Well, how do you know there's not an interference on another phone call coming through?" I said, "Well, listen, we have a backup to that, right? If you don't feel comfortable using your cell phone, right? If you don't want to use your cell phone in that situation, we tried a different variation of that method, and we used walkie-talkies. So we got walkie-talkies, same concept, put a walkie-talkie in the area, put a voice recorder next to it. And yes, you could probably say, "Oh, well, someone's on the other on someone came onto your channel and was talking." But again, you don't know until you try it yourself. You know what I mean? And to me,
Yeah.
it's not going to hurt to try these methods and see how you like it.
No, and I mean that's what it's all about. Like this is a classic example of learning from someone else. You know, like for me, Miranda Young, she does basically a deprivation with dowsing rods.
Right.
And when I saw her do it, I was like, wow, I want to try that.
Right.
You know, these are great ideas.
Yeah, definitely.
Our team loves to do deprivation, especially Leanne Eskew. That's her shit.
Right.
She's good at it. We do the human pendulum.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever tried it.
No, I've never tried that before.
It's any events we're at, it's pretty well received.
Okay.
Basically you need 6 people total. You have one person that's the pendulum in the middle, 4 on the outside, and someone to run the experiment.
Okay.
But yeah, Leanne's like, yep, that's my jam, and it is. But that's something I'll it's on our YouTube channel. They did it at the Old Stone Jail. It's alive.
Right.
So maybe you can check that out, because if
Yeah,
not,
definitely.
David said it took 20 minutes to explain, you know, the other, and oh yes, let's talk about that. I love what you did with the spray painting with the glow in the dark. David just brought that up.
Oh yeah. So what ended up happening was, and I don't talk too much about this, but um, whenever I don't make it to an investigation because I'm busy with other stuff, I have enough members of my team that will step up and go take care of business for me. And so at one of our investigations, it really pissed me off, but some of my equipment grew legs and walked away.
Oh, been there, done
And
that.
and so I was very angry, but I was like, you know what? Lesson learned. I'm not gonna let that happen again. And so I said, you know what? I need to do something different. I said, you know what? To eliminate someone saying, well, Mike, you took my K2 meter, or you took my this, or you took my that. I said the small enough devices like the K2 meters, the ghost boxes, things of that, I'm gonna change the colors of them. That way people can't say, I actually took your hot pink ghost box, Mike, or I took your, whatever color, ghost box. So what I ended up doing was I got one of my K2 meters and I sanded it down, and then I hit it with this crazy green color. And then on top of that, I added this glow in the dark spray paint. And so, whenever you're in an investigation, the moment those lights turn off, that bad boy is glowing, full glow in the dark.
Yes.
And you're walking around and there's no one who's going to be there with you who says, oh my God, I had that same one. Hell no. Cause it's specific to you. There's no one in the world,
Yep.
at least that you know of, who has it exactly like that, So I went ahead. I'm starting to do that now. I shared the idea with David and he was like, oh my God, Mike, I'm going to do that. And I'll let David tell you the color he picked for his devices. I'm not going to share that. That's for David to share.
Come on, David. I'm waiting to hear, buddy. Come on, pimpin', put it out there.
You share, David, because I don't want to see. I'll let you say it.
I mean, when I saw that, I was like, okay, that's amazing. Yeah, like I'm gonna have to do that, when I have money to get new equipment.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, gotta do it. Oh, Eileen said no, she's doing it before him. And yeah, Bob, who I love, Bob, he's so supportive of everyone in the
Yeah,
field.
Bob's a good person. I respect him a lot.
Stormy Daniels pink.
He said it, not me.
Really? Really, David? We'll talk about this later, David.
Stormy Daniels pink. He is wild, man. He is
Hot pink.
wild.
Yeah, we kind of figured that out, David. Yeah, I can see David walking around with a pink EDI.
But can you imagine him walking on that hot pink EDI and this freaking glowing hot pink or whatever, that there was no one else who's going to have that specific, downside color unless they see and they copy you. But, so I wanted to eliminate that confusion and someone say, "Oh, Mike actually took your, whatever color device," and I'm just gonna slap them and take it back. But I was like, no, I can't let that happen anymore. So I'm gonna be very careful now who I allow use my equipment, or who's around my
Oh
equipment,
yeah.
because it's so expensive, and for someone just to walk off with it, I'm like, you know what, maybe they need it more than I do, but karma is a what. So
These two are killing me, and this is why I love them. Well, okay, so everyone know that Mike owns the green, David owns the pink, and I'm going to be using some kind of purple. So if you see any of those three colors, it's going to be like a gang war if you touch
right.
one.
Oh yeah, don't touch none of ours, because if I see it, I'm gonna beat you up.
Well, and Bob brings something good to the table. Using stencils.
Yeah, yeah, you can. Yeah, that's
That would
definitely
be
it.
great.
And here's the thing, Bob, if you can hear me right now, what I was actually thinking, and I don't care if anyone uses this idea. So here's the thing, just to kind of take it to the next level. Let's say that the ghost box, or the K2 meter, whatever, you take it apart. Obviously, it depends on what kind of paint you're using. If you get sanded down, what you can do is, like you said, get a stencil inside the actual device itself, like the plastic.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
put that stencil in there, spray over it, and that way, let's say it's glow in the dark or whatever, or fluorescent. The moment that someone has it, I know you're not gonna want to take it apart in front of them, but if you have to, your signature or your logo or whatever it is, it's in there. And if you take it apart, there's no denying, oh well, I happen to put the same one too. BS. So that's
No, that is
definitely
a
a
yeah.
good idea.
And it's sad that you have to do that, but legit, like that stuff's expensive.
Oh, I lost two ghost boxes, or someone took two of my ghost boxes, my mail meter, and one of my JBL wireless Bluetooth speakers.
Oh hell no. Yeah, and Josh Chow, like I said, he's family member too. He's with Bad Moon Paranormal.
Okay.
He said he's engraving all his equipment. He's the one that said that if you shaved your beard, y'all could be twins. Um, Josh is a
We
hot
definitely gotta
mess.
link
He's
up. We
so
gotta
much
link up.
fun. Josh is great fun. We do a lot. We've went out with Squatch Man.
Okay.
So we're big fans of Squatch Man. We had some pretty good experiences while we were out there with him. And Josh is actually going to be doing a show with him on Midnight Wolfpack Productions.
Oh, nice. That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, so
Dude,
it's
I,
going
would-
to
I
be
would love
fun.
to. I would love to do something like that, because here in San Antonio, our our options are very. We don't have anything. The closest we have to any kind of crypto, cryptid is I don't even really consider it cryptid. Is we had this almost like an urban legend, is we had this thing called the Donkey Lady Bridge, where and there's so many, again, variations to the story. There's not just
Yeah.
one specific story. Everyone has their own made up one about a woman who, this land developer wanted her farm, and she denied him. So one of his children happened to be in her property. This one of her livestock or something bit him. He sent his henchmen, burned the whole property down. She survived, her family died, and she stayed deformed, looking like a donkey apparently. And so, when she finally passed away, people would see her spirit, and you would hear whatever. But that to me is like maybe the closest we have to cryptid. But Bigfoot, man, if I had the opportunity to do something like that, I would take it in a heartbeat to go experience that.
Oh well, you know what? You're more than welcome. We'll get with you, set something up, and come out and go with us.
That would be amazing.
We'd love to have you. Just remember, bring me tacos.
I'm gonna bring you one of those real big giant ones. And you know what? After the show, I'm gonna send you a photo so you can see what I'm talking about, how big they are. It's gonna blow your mind.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, that's another thing. Wait, Eileen Jones, what the David? You can't say
Wow.
that. Yeah. Gotta love them.
Oh, she had me at surge. Thank you, Eileen.
So much fun. Like I don't think the world's ready for all of us to be together.
No, 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 no.
I really don't. Um, I'm trying to remember. There was something else particular that I was going to ask you about. Did you all get anything from that footage with that night that they went live in the graveyard? At that.
Actually, you know what? I haven't really gone over it. When they were live, you know, there was a moment where I was here at I was here at the computer as they were live at the location, and I had walked away for a second. I didn't realize that the phone had died, and so I was live streaming just my room right here where I'm at the whole time, and so
Yes.
I was like, "What the hell?" And I'm gonna turn it off. Um, but they ended with some other places, but they didn't really share if you know they reviewed the footage besides the live feed. So I don't know at this moment.
Yep. And Ronnie, you know you're invited too. Like I said, Josh said whenever you get up this way, he'd love to do an investigation of Bigfoot or anything with you.
Oh man, that would be amazing. I definitely gotta send you a friend request. I don't think I have him as a friend. I'll
Yeah,
definitely
Josh
add
Chow,
him.
he's a nice guy. You need to get Denise Brazel, wait, soon to be Pack, the whole crew. We that's the one thing we love. We really enjoy investigating with other people, you know, meeting
Right,
like-minded people, making those, you know, lifelong connections. You never know. That kind of
definitely.
energy together,
Right.
it's crazy.
You know, one of these days we need to have that, you know, where we need to come onto the show together and just have one of these like kickback shows where we just kind of talk all kinds of different things paranormal together. I think that would be
Oh yeah.
really amazing. I would love to do that if they're down to do that. I'm
Oh
definitely
yeah.
open.
Because I've been talking about doing a roundtable for a while.
Right.
And we'll hit you up. We'll make something happen. I mean, we'd love to do that. That's right. That's right, girl. That's what para unity is.
Oh yeah, amen to that.
We call it para family.
There you go, pair family.
And that, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna make some stuff happen. You know, and just in case, if any of y'all happen to know Randy Hardy, I talked to David
Randy.
about this the other day. Share this to Randy Hardy because I want to interview Randy Hardy. He is one of my favorite paranormal investigators. Send him my direction. Mike, what is your most intense investigation
Yeah, we're
where you're
streaming that.
fuck this, I'm out?
Okay, so let me share this. I'm gonna share this with everybody. Okay, so and I'm gonna ask you this question, and I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna ask: have you or anybody you know in the field had that moment where they're at an investigation, you know, they're conducting it, and they had that moment where they were put in a situation where they question, should I really be doing this or not? Like because of the circumstances, right? And I feel like everybody in this field, I don't care the moment you enter the field or late into the game, you're gonna have a moment where you're gonna question, should I really be doing this or not? And then you gotta make that choice on your own, on you know, your own time. My mom, who I brought to my show, she was living with one of her ex-boyfriends at the time, and they had this duplex. And for the longest time, for months, she was like, Mijo, you know, my the duplex I'm renting, we hear children in the middle of the night. We hear them walking, you know, in the kitchen, and we can hear children talking at night. And I'm like, Mom, you know what? You have neighbors, you know, they have kids, I'm sure there's a school nearby. And I was giving her every excuse in the book. And she, you know, I was just so busy, and she was like, please make the time to come check out this house. I promise you, I'm not lying to you. I'm like, I know you're not lying to me. It's just that it could be a million different things on what may be causing it, but I don't think it's ghosts. Please, please, I'm begging you, come check it out. And for the longest time, I never I didn't make the time. And so one evening I never forget this. It was like I think March of '09. I was working as a cashier for Walgreens here in town, and I had the day off, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go. So it was myself and two people with me at the time. We went to my mom's duplex, and I want to paint this picture for you. It's like in a part of San Antonio, the west side, really bad area. You know, the neighborhood is not that great looking, but people are slow trying to, you know, refix the neighborhood. And so this duplex, it's a long driveway. You get to the front of the porch. You had to walk like 3 or 4 steps up, and you get to this high, you know, this really high porch. And if for those who are watching, if you've ever seen a duplex before, there's always two doors in the front of the place, you know, because the house is divided in half. And the door to the right had this big old lock on the door. And I knew I couldn't get to that part of the house. I looked to my left. There's another door. The screen was locked, but the door inside was open. And I peeked in and I see these old wooden floors and I see this big old giant mirror. And I say, Mom, I'm here, Mom. Can you open the door, please? And out of nowhere, myself and the two people who are with me, we hear my mom say, hold on, Mike. I'm getting my shoes. Don't leave. Just give me a second. I said, okay. I turn my back to the door. I walk to the edge of the porch and I noticed that the neighbor next door, he had this sheet metal privacy fence. And I'm looking over, I'm high enough where I can look over the fence. Well, I noticed that he has car parts everywhere, like, engines and, just he had just all these different things just everywhere. And I'm like, okay. So my eyes are following that sheet metal fence all the way down to it reaches where the sidewalk's at. And there's a telephone pole there. And when my eyes meet that area, who comes walking from around that corner? My mom comes walking from around that corner. And she
Oh, wow.
says, hey, Mike, I was calling to your phone, but you weren't answering. I'm glad you showed up. And I said, and I'm just like, wait. And as she's walking up to me, I can still hear the footsteps in the house. And this is about 6 p.m. So it's still daylight. And I said, Mom, how did you go from being in the house to coming from the opposite direction? She says, what are you talking about? I said, you literally just told me right now, hold on, I'm getting my shoes, don't leave. She says, no, I've been at the corner store trying to call. I was using the woman's phone, trying to call you to your phone, but you weren't answering. I'm like, my phone hasn't rang once. And she goes, no, I was calling you. I go, come here to the door, come here. So she walks up and I knock on the door again. I said, Mom, are you almost done getting your shoes? My mom's right next to me. And you hear my mom's voice come from within the house and said, I told you to please wait. I'm getting the shoes. I'm about to put them on and I'll go outside. My mom's right next to me. And
my
I mean, and
gosh.
I'm like, and I look at her and she wants to like just shout, like, she's like, I told you my house is haunted. I told you something there. And I'm like, holy shit, excuse my language. I'm like, what is this thing? Obviously it's intelligent. It's mimicking my mom's voice. What
Yeah.
the hell is in this house? It put fear in my heart because you can go so many investigations and never have that kind of experience. And
Mm.
so here's a kicker, right? When someone is making a barbecue on your block, right, or nearby, you you can smell that burning wood from
Yeah.
far. My mom's boyfriend was barbecuing in the backyard, and not once did I smell wood burning. Nothing, nothing, no wood, no nothing, no charcoal. We get to once we cross to the backyard, all the smell of the barbecue hit my nose. I'm like, what the hell? And so we're eating, having a good time. Here comes midnight. I said, okay, Mom, we're gonna investigate. Please stay in your room. Have the TV on mute. Anytime you move, I don't care if you're gonna take your shoes off. I don't care what you do. Say, I'm taking my shoes off. I'm turning the TV off, or whatever you're doing. Just label it. That way, it can distinguish what's us and the spirits. She stays in her room. I'm walking to the house to make sure there's nothing that's gonna harm us. When I find out the whole house is completely, there's nothing that's gonna harm us. I said, what room should we start off first? Each room in the house had a white door, but there was one room that had a red door. I said, let's go in there. So we go in there, and usually when we investigate, we pray before the investigation, and then, I'll decide, okay, how many people are going to go to the location, how many people are going to be in command center, or whatever, whatever. It was only 3 of us. I said, let's just sit down. Let's not say a word. Let's be completely quiet, and let's see whatever's here. Let's allow it to get curious enough to be like, who in the hell are these people, and come to us.
Yeah.
We're not gonna say a word. We sat there for like 10 minutes and there was not one sound. And I'm like, I got to a point, like, you know what? Let's get up. And the moment we're about to stand up, you hear this boom, boom, boom. Like these loud steps are coming towards us. And mind you, the house is so quiet. So you can hear a fly fart and you're gonna hear it. So you're hearing this you're hearing these loud footsteps coming closer to the door. And all I kept thinking was my mom's boyfriend at the time, he was a trickster. I mean, this guy, he would like play jokes and pranks and stuff, prankster. And, I was like, he's going to scare us. He's going to do a jump scare and scare the hell out of us. All of a sudden, when the footsteps are getting closer to the door, I tell the people who are with me, I go, I'm going to count to three very quietly. And the moment that the steps stop at the door, I'm going to yank the door open and we're going to scare the hell out of him. They're like, okay. So as soon as the steps stop right in front of the door, I yank it open. There's nobody there. And I'm like, okay. So I peek out. And mind you, if let's say he would have been there and he ran off, you're going to hear all the steps of him running away, laughing, or whatever he's doing. I look
Yeah.
to my left. I see the camera rolling. I look to the right. I see the end of the hallway. I don't see nobody. And I'm like, okay. Close the door. I start asking questions. I'm like, my name is Mike, blah, blah, the whole spiel. And I said, we're here trying to figure out who you are, why you're here. I said, and we're asking questions. And then one of the guys who's there with me says, I want to take a picture of this thing. And I said, okay, out of respect, may I take a photo of you? I said, if you're okay with me taking a photo, I need you to bang on the wall like this. And I went, boom. I hit it one time. I said, bang one time for yes, if you're okay with it, or bang twice for no. And when I went to hit the first bang, I was about to do the second bang, and then you hear boom, like like if it was completing the two knocks, like it didn't want me to take a photo. And I jumped back. I mean, I it caught me by surprise. And the guy was like, you know what, F this, I'm still gonna take a photo. He goes into the hallway and he just taking all his photos. And I'm like, and I pull him back and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? If this thing wants to attack us or harm us in any way, I cannot physically stop it with my hands. I mean, it's not a physical
Yeah.
thing. And he became a liability, so I got rid of him a long time ago. But things started happening in that moment that really terrified me, because remember, I was new into the field. I had never, I mean, I tell people it's one thing, in any part of your life that you haven't experienced, that's one thing. But to go
Yeah.
looking for these things is a whole nother ball game. It's a totally different thing. It's a totally different monster.
Yeah.
I said, and me being there, not knowing what it was, knowing that it was intelligent, where it was mimicking my mom's voice, it put fear in my heart for that moment. And I was so scared. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was hyperventilating, like freaking out. And I said, why in the hell am I doing this? Like, what am I doing?
Like, why did I sign up for this?
Right. But then what I remembered, the moments when I was a child, and I remember the times I couldn't sleep at night, and my mom would be crying because she didn't know what was going on. She didn't know how to help me. And I remember the
Yeah.
moments where we wanted help and nobody wanted to help us. And I reminded myself, I said, Mike, I know you're scared. You may have more moments like this, but remember why you're doing this. Remember when you were a kid and you had no one to help you. So I reminded myself of that, and I snapped out of it within seconds. And the fear, I'm not saying I'm this fearless person walking around, but it's more of wanting to better understand why these things occur, why
Yeah.
certain people become affected. And so I got that fear, and I just tucked it away in the back. And I trust that God put me in those situations for a reason, So now, of course, I'm still continuing to do this, and I love doing this, because even though there's moments like that, but like I said, I wouldn't change it for anything. So
No.
that was my moment. That was one of my scariest at the time investigations.
And I couldn't imagine, and that's what makes you stand apart from other people. All of us have at some point, I think, had experiences, but
Right.
to know more about your story and your mom,
Right.
it makes it even more. I mean, it's very touching to me, because I can't imagine you as a child and your
Right.
mom not knowing what to do and how to help you, and
Right.
then no one else will step in to help.
Right.
So that's why I think most of us do what we do
Right.
is other people.
Right.
And, I'm glad I've had the opportunity to talk to you. I look forward to getting to know you better, you know, and I don't think that there's anything, all of us, if we all come together, there's nothing we can't do. There's a lot of people out there that need help, especially with how the world has been recently.
Right.
And we all just have to stand strong within whatever our faith system is and realize we're here to help people and the spirits.
And one last thing I'd like to say, if you don't mind,
No, go
is
ahead.
for all those who are watching, whether you're watching it live or you watch it later on playback, I know that you hear a lot of people who say, thank you to the servicemen and women and, people who are nurses and, for COVID, and I appreciate everybody who find those battles for us. But I want to thank, and I'm saying that we're unsung heroes, but I want to thank all those out there who work in this paranormal field, who don't get paid for it. At least I don't get paid for it. For those of us who have the sleepless nights, for those of us who don't get to be with our families at night because we're out there helping people, for those of us who we put so much money into this and we're not expecting anything in return except for wanting to make a difference. I want to say thank you to all those individuals who decided to come into this field and who are sticking with it. This is not an easy field to be in, not because of just of the paranormal, because of situations, but I want to say thank you because remember, at one time, so many people were closed-minded to the paranormal. You couldn't
Yep.
talk about the paranormal because you were crazy. So, for those who came before us, not just the Warrens and other people who got who got that, they were able to come on TV and stuff, but even the people who never got that kind of attention, all the people who gave up being with their kids and families and work just to go help people, I want to say personally thank you because if it wasn't for all of us as a community, this unity we talk about, so many people, we would still be living that time where you couldn't talk about this, but because of all our work combined, more and more people are becoming more open-minded to it, and it's no longer a fear. It's more of, let me show you why these things occur. Once you help people better understand the unknown, fear goes away. So for all those who are continuing to do this kind of work, thank you from my heart, because it's not just one person who can make a difference, but all of us combined, so thank you for that.
Yep. And that is true. There's a lot of people out there, not just, us investigators, the priest, the clergy,
Everybody,
you
yeah.
know, we thank you all. Mike, I appreciate you joining me tonight. I better get off here before Animal kills me. He has a show. I want to do this again. I want you to come on again. I'll get
Definitely.
with you about the roundtables.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll do that. There's my brother Chris Sesler is in chat tonight. I love you, Bubba. We have Terminus Paranormal. He's a great investigator. So check us out, Terminus Paranormal also. Don't forget Midnight Wolf Pack, the Black Wolf Pack Man, After Midnight, Bad Moon. You need to go if you haven't. You need to go on over to the Midnight Paranormal Society. You need to give them a like, follow them. They're great people. Mike, is there anything else you want to share with them that you might have coming up or
Yeah, I
some
do
other
actually.
outlet?
My next show we're gonna have on the 8th, which is I believe is gonna be a Friday. For those who don't know this gentleman, I'm gonna have Dr. Barry Taff on the show. He's the
Awesome.
gentleman who worked on the entity case, the San Pedro hauntings. Like he was on a Demon House. Like this gentleman, he's like over 51 years of experience. I'm gonna have him on my show. He's gonna come on and I can't wait to pick his brain and all the things he's experienced. So if you have the opportunity, come on next Friday and check out the show on the 8th.
Well, I'll be there.
Thank you so much.
Definitely will. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're going to do this again. Thursday, Wicked Woman show. I've got the Elite Paranormal Vixens from Nashville, Tennessee. Don't forget to check out Mike's show. He's going to be back on again soon. I love y'all. Keep on doing what you're doing and do it the right way. Y'all have a good one.
Good night, everybody.